I bet I drill a clean hole in somebody today.
There are not enough competitive players replacing the ones who are quitting? That's the question that I ask as well, right? So this is all about bringing in new players, but are you bringing in new players faster than you're losing players? And they're at 9,000, and then they're at 8,000, and then they're at 7,000, and then they're coming into the 6,000. They want to bring in casuals, but in my opinion, they're not replacing the hardcore players with casuals fast enough. People say Tekken 7 got good like in a year or two, right? And that's true, right? Season 2 was like a real sweet spot, even though you had like busted characters like Geese Howard, Akuma, and whatnot, right? Noctis was crazy during that era as well, right? People forget about Noctis, Main Man Sweet, right? Main Man got that character nerfed. People forget about that era of Season 2. We only think of like the tournaments and how great the tournaments were, but Season 2 had some issues as well. But the point is like Tekken 7 built up a success. When you're releasing a new game, that game has to maintain that level of like, you know, Street Fighter released their game day one and they did not balance it for like 7 months because the game was already balanced. Is it too much to ask for Tekken to do the same thing? Felix says, Tekken fans are so angry lately on my YouTube comments are so heated. I'm a shill if I'm excited and I'm crying if I'm criticized. Zane says, to be fair, you make a title said they fixed everything when they in fact didn't fix anything. Felix responds to Zane and says they're fixing everything. I guess the circle is supposed to be like, not they fix, but they're going to fix, right? But Zane responds to this and says, by fixing everything, did you mean tuning rank points and having Lily on the main menu, or actual issues like plugging, cheating, deteriorating netcode, bad gameplay design, lackluster battle pass, assets being reused for the premium customization, and lack of incentive pass god? So this is some of the core issues that people have with Tekken. Now, to be fair, they did talk about some of this stuff. When someone plugs against you, they want that person's ghost to take over and continue the match. And they want it to be done in a seamless way to where you don't even realize that the player plugged and you just continue fighting the ghosts. VDX responds and says, the fact that online practice mode, main menu customs, and rank points changed are happening means that they're listening, which is more than can be said about other games. VDX says, gameplay design is not a point of contention that competitive players will likely be able to influence. And the reason why I half agree, half disagree is because I think that pro players will be able to push the developers so far. They can influence it, but they cannot alter it. Arsenal and Ash released this giant text that we're looking at, and in this, he was talking about the current balancing of Tekken 7 and how he wanted the game to be. And the developers made literally the exact changes he's saying here. They did it. And this is a example of Arsenal and Ash by himself impacting the whole entire game that we play. And you can even talk about Main Man. Main Man has did it many times before where he said something in a video and the next update it was done. You can definitely influence the developers, but you may not be able to influence them enough to take out guard breaks. So this part right here where he's talking about how a character wins a tournament and the developers immediately nerf them. I think this has influenced Tekken 8 as well, to where the developers are not balancing the characters after every tournament. They're waiting until the entire season ends and then they will react. Like I said, I agree and disagree with what FeedX is saying right here. I think people can influence the balance, but to a certain degree. But then also, I don't think you should be able to fully influence the balance, because even though what Arson was saying there, a lot of it was true, you then have to keep in mind, after this, he went on Twitter and was asking for Kunimitsu to be buffed. So you can't ask for the developers to listen to the player's request and then go and ask for one of the most powerful characters in the game to be buffed even more. You can't do that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want them to listen, you need to give honest criticism. And that's something that we're struggling with as well, because everyone's a professional. Everyone has a stake in winning. This is something that other games get laughed at. Other games like Assassin's Creed, like Overwatch, like these other games, when they release their product and it's not up to standard on day one, they get laughed at. But the Tekken players, they accept it. They say, oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. I just paid $100+ for this game. It will be good in 2 years. What? Like, the developers are doing, like, if we go back to this tweet here, they're doing all this stuff for the new players who are just showing up to the game, right? And this is someone who showed up in Tekken 7. So how do they feel about Tekken 8? Heat should drain faster. I agree, but They need to make it something that people want to interact with, because people basically don't want it. They want it to drain faster. They want it to not exist. They want it to be not. They don't like heat, and they want it to be out of the game. That's the issue. It's like people are rejecting heat, and they need to figure out a way to get people to accept it. Whining, nah, this is just complaints about the game. Mechanics, not everything is whiny when it comes to factual. So yeah, it's like some players don't want any criticism about the game whatsoever. Like this post right here comes off as legit criticism. You can't take away the paying customer's ability to critique a product. What are you doing? This is $1 billion company. You don't get to be $1 billion company, a super high up executive, and be like, Reddit hurt my feelings. When you're that high up, when you make that much money, this is what comes with it. And that's how it is. Like if I'm a content creator and people are disliking my video and leaving trash in the comment section, what am I going to do? Am I going to go cry about it? No, that's what comes with the territory. It's the same thing for a game developer. Everyone spent a lot of time getting good at the game, and you cannot value people who are showing up to Tekken 8 for the first time ever. You cannot value those players over us. And I'm not even trying to come off as elite. It's just, you can't do that. You can't put down the players who built your franchise to lift up this imaginary player base that you hope will show up. You're doing all of these stupid things that will not bring in a new player base, yet you are trying to favor this new player base. It just does not make sense. If your game was good, if you were making the correct decisions, then the possibilities of a new player base showing up would be more likely. But you are doing everything whatsoever to prevent people from buying this game. And that's why we see the slow decline in numbers. It just doesn't make sense, bro. You guys like say like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But then you celebrate when something get fixed. What? How are you going to celebrate when something get fixed when you were trying to go after the people who are asking for that thing to be fixed? I'm not even saying you can't enjoy it. I'm just saying when someone is given valid criticism, you guys got to stop trying to prevent them from doing that. If it's stupid, then the developers will ignore it. Harada has been blocking people, muting people. He already has the necessary tools to get out all the stupid people. You don't need to be this little Harada minion running around trying to do it for him. What is that about? This is why I wanted new characters. The reason why I don't get into individual characters is because it's a game flaw. Their vision is why all of these characters are rushed down, 50-50s, guard breaks, mix-ups. You need to fix that aspect of the game before you could talk about how they can create new characters. If they create a new character, that character is going to be a rush down, 50-50 stance, guard breaking character like everyone else. You can't get a interesting design in the current landscape of the game. That's just how I look at it, at least. I find arguing about characters, specific characters, very meaningless and pointless. Tekken 7 taught me that, right? Tekken 7 taught me no matter how much they balanced the game, after 7 years of balancing the Tekken 7, people were still arguing about balance. That tells me that we need to shift our focus onto something else, because that cannot repeat itself. I'm not going to argue about broken characters for 7 years with Tekken 8. I'm not doing it. I'm going to try to put my attention somewhere more positive, right?